This video is going to be a review of the movie Wreck-It Ralph, which I bought last week. I blind bought it. I was a little hesitant to watch it, only because when it first came out, it did get kind of mixed reviews. Not a lot of people were raving about it, pretty much. They said it was okay, it was decent, blah, 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 blah. Kind of like the same deal with Brave, which I also bought. I bought Brave, too. I blind bought Brave, and I wasn't too impressed with Brave. I mean, it was a perfectly fine movie for what it was. I mean, it was good. But yeah, it was just kind of okay. So I was kind of hesitant to see Wreck-It Ralph, only because I was pretty much fearing the same kind of deal. It could be okay, but not great, not worth maybe the blind buy. But the thing is, when it did come to video specifically, that's when a lot of people were starting to be a lot more, warm to it, a lot more higher praise that I was noticing for it, actually. In fact, a lot of people were saying, oh, this should have won the Oscar for Best Animated Feature, not Brave. So I thought, I'll give it a watch. So I did end up getting it, and I'm glad I did, because this is actually a really awesome movie. I'm not always. It's kind of hit or miss with me with Disney movies and with animated movies. Like, I won't watch all of them. Like, I've never seen the Cars movies. I don't think I ever will. I definitely won't see Planes whenever that comes out. But I was really surprised by this movie, because a lot like with Brave, the thing about all the ads that you'll see for these movies is, I don't want to say they're misleading, they're not, but they kind of bury the leads of the story. So they give you a sort of general idea what the concept is, but they didn't really go into detail like the previews, what the main story would be. Like Brave, and this is spoiler territory here, but from the previews I kind of thought it was going to be this girl going on some magical journey or whatever, and it sort of is, but basically the movie is her mom turns into a bear, and she has to get her to not be a bear. That's the movie. But Wreck-It Ralph, like, from the ads, you kind of were expecting, this whole video game universe with, like, Q*bert and Sonic the Hedgehog and Bowser from Mario and stuff like that. So it wasn't what I was expecting. It wasn't what a lot of people were expecting, actually. But it was actually kind of a good thing for me that it wasn't exactly that. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, video game reference, oh my god, awesome, awesome. It wasn't like that, which is good. Like, it is kind of within the first 20 minutes or so of the movie, but I like how they got all of that out of the way, only because it kind of works on a similar principle, like, like the Alfred Hitchcock cameo. Like, whenever you watch an Alfred Hitchcock movie, you're expecting the cameo. You'll like see him somewhere in the movie, but it always happens within the first 20 minutes or so. Why? Because you're expecting it. So they got all that stuff out of the way, and how the movie turned out against my expectations was it is kind of like this classic adventure story, like kind of like a magical kind of tale of, and this is again spoilers, but like a magical kingdom and an evil ruler who's usurped the rightful heir to the throne and things like that. Except it's within this totally modern and really interesting and original landscape of being within this whole like video game universe where Ralph is the bad guy of Wreck-It Ralph, kind of like a Donkey Kong character who wants more out of life, and he wants to find good. So he kind of plays like, like the, not dim-witted, but kind of like the buffoonish kind of character who's more than meets the eye, and he helps the girl, Vanellope, who's actually a princess, but she doesn't know it. And the evil Turbo is the Candy King in this candy universe and everything like that, this candy video game, Sugar Rush, which is really cool. Really cool environment with, like, it looks so delicious. I was like licking the screen. But yeah, like, and it incorporates all these other video games, like a Halo type kind of game with this really butch, strong leader lady who gets into the mix, and with Fix-It Felix, and there's kind of a whole dynamic going on there. It's like a big, cool adventure movie, like a classic kind of like, almost like a magic swords and sorcery kind of thing, except it is within a very modern story, in this case being like a video game come to life. So I thought it was excellent, and the animation was great. Really funny jokes too, like there are all the video game references and stuff like that. And so different age groups will laugh at different things. I'm sure, like someone my age will be like, "Oh, Ryu," in the corner there, and like another kid who's like 8 will be like, "Yeah, Halo, I know exactly what that is." So there's all this cool stuff. There's a huge cool race. And it's a really surprisingly sweet story, actually. With Wreck-It Ralph and Vanellope, kind of like these two outcasts. Ralph, of course, is the bad guy, but he wants to do good, and he wants to prove his worth and everything like that. Vanellope is a glitch, sort of put under a spell, not knowing that she really is a princess. And so they kind of find each other and learn from each other, blah, 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 until it comes to the resolution of the story. And I thought it was a really satisfying movie. And I think, though this wasn't what the advertisements kind of made it out to be, I thought it was all the better. So maybe some people would be like, "Oh, Sonic's in it for like 2 seconds, even though he's in all the previews and he's on the poster and everything." But no, I was pleasantly surprised by the movie. I think it's a new classic and really, really good Disney story, and a classic, tried and true kind of, hero's journey kind of thing, but for a modern era. It looks great, very funny. I can't recommend this movie highly enough. I'd really recommend checking it out. If you're like me and you're kind of unsure, like you thought maybe, you were hearing mixed things about it. I think it's a perfect movie. I actually, when I first watched it, I was like, "This is a great movie. I'm going to watch it again." So I watched it twice in a row. That's how good it is. So it really brings out the kid in me. And of course, I love the retro video game stuff. I'm a big retro gamer, more than I am a modern gamer. I still have my Nintendo and play it often. So I really liked it. And kind of like between Brave and Wreck-It Ralph, you could almost say it's like the McDonald's Happy Meal principle. You have one for the girls, one for the boys. A boy would be like the car, the girl would be a Barbie, but this one I think it has a little something more for everybody because of the girl Vanellope character. She's actually like she's a good female role model, actually. Like, she's not confined to gender roles or anything. She's going to race if she wants to, and, whatever. But I highly recommend this movie. I really enjoyed it. So, yeah, Wreck-It Ralph. Check it out. Great movie. Great Disney magic. Well worth checking out.